Cleopatra Bernard lives in a 15.
Damn, this is my last reaction, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I've been reacting to shit all day, bro. This my last one. I think this my last one, bro.
15,000 square foot mansion in Parkland, Florida. 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms. She bought it for 3.5.
I was finna say how you get 50 M's, but bro, I think XXXTentacion, I think his ass went platinum like twice, shorty. I mean, I think he went platinum and he went overly diamond, shorty. Let me see. How many times did XXXTentacion go platinum and diamond? 2 RIA diamonds. 2 RIA diamonds. I heard both of the songs though, I ain't gonna lie. It's sad. It's a song called Sad and Fuck Love with Trippie Redd. Yeah, once you go diamond, bro, it's like once you go diamond and you ain't if your deal was raw, you up. I ain't gonna lie. It's not that many people that go diamond. But that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy for X to pass away like that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. When I first heard of X though, I was a little skeptical about him. Like, what's wrong with this nigga? Because he had a lot of controversy going. But then when I started to hear his thought process and see them videos with him academics and stuff like that, I was like, hey, I could rock with dude. Then his music wasn't that bad. I ain't mess with the yelling shit. Like when he used to be yelling and shit, I ain't like that. But he was melodic, a little bit of rap. So he got 6. He got damn. He got albums that went 6x platinum, 3 platinum, 9 platinum. Moonlight went 9 platinum. Changes 8 platinum. Hope 7x platinum. He got some money coming in. He damn near don't even gotta rap no more. If he was still alive, he didn't even have to rap no more.
$4 million. 2 months after her son was murdered, and it's worth close to $5 million today. The estate she controls has been valued in court filings at over $50 million. Her son's catalog is still pulling 30 million monthly listeners on Spotify, almost 8 years after he died. That's the version of this story you've probably heard.
Labels thought they was gonna get that. No sir.
XXXTentacion's mother inherited a fortune.
His mama young. What the fuck? Not like that. Like, I ain't saying like that. I'm just saying like she young as hell. She look young. She probably had him when she was young.
And lives like it. But the paperwork tells
what the fuck? Hey, they look like too though.
A different story, because the entire empire she runs sits on a will that a 19-year-old completed in 2017.
That's good, bro. Did that.
A will he never actually signed himself, where his mother wrote next to her own signature that she held power of attorney over him.
Oh, because he was still young.
And 8 years later, his family is still fighting.
That's his family?
In court over what happened to the money. So how does a document a 19-year-old never signed end up putting one woman in control of everything he ever made?
That's his mama though, shorty. Y'all gotta understand. That's the first person the money go to.
To answer that, we gotta go back to the beginning. Jose Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy was born on January 23rd, 1998 in South Florida. His childhood was fractured in every direction. He moved between relatives, spent stretches raised by his grandmother, and had a relationship with his mother that he described publicly for years as complicated and painful.
Free yourself from prying eyes. Visit Doc.ai to chat privately with ChatGPT.
What kind of upbringing did you have? Like, what's your mom like?
My mom is
shorty. Adam 22 gotta go down for like something. Like, you know, he gotta go down for like, I don't know, because he done interviewed them everybody. Every rapper.
mean.
When they first, like, the new age rappers back then, he done interviewed everybody. First, before.
My mom.
I think I seen his interview, but I forgot. I don't really remember it. That was a while ago.
My mom's probably the only girl that could beat me up.
He talked about feeling abandoned. He wrote about it constantly. A huge amount of the music that made him famous came directly out of that wound. That matters here because the woman now running his estate is the same woman he spent his career writing songs about missing. By his teens, he was in and out of juvenile detention. He got expelled from school.
So then after a while, like, I got kicked out of like a lot of schools. So I ended up going to like Deepside or Lauderhill.
He spent time in a youth program and later described those years as the period that shaped everything about how he saw the world. He was angry, he was volatile, and he was already writing. Then he found SoundCloud. What he uploaded starting around 2015 sounded like nothing else on
2015. I wouldn't have never thought I would be doing the shit I'm doing now in 2015.
the platform. Distorted vocals, blown out mixing, screaming over beats that clipped, recorded on
That screaming shit.
equipment that cost almost nothing. Most
Hey, the narrator funny as hell. Look, hear him though, shorty. Look how he covered.
sounded like nothing else on the platform. Distorted vocals,
Distorted vocals.
blown out
Blown out mixes.
screaming over beats that clipped, recorded on equipment that cost almost nothing. Most artists were trying to sound clean. He was doing the opposite on purpose, and it hit a nerve with an audience that had been waiting for somebody to sound the way they actually felt. Look at Me came out of that period. No label, no radio, no marketing, no cosign. It spread because people kept sending it to each other, and by 2017, it had turned into a genuine phenomenon and eventually charted on the Billboard Hot 100. He was 19 years old, building something enormous and doing it faster than the industry could process. By 2017, the industry had caught up. In October of that year, Billboard reported a deal with Caroline and Capitol worth roughly $6 million.
Oh my God, you could do wonders if you were with us. And basically, Capitol Music Group has reportedly signed him to a deal worth
6 million ain't bad.
6 million.
2 months earlier,
If you don't know what to do with the 6 million, that money is gonna go back quick, shorty.
he'd released 17, an album that sounded like a breakdown recorded in a bedroom and connected with millions of people for exactly that reason. Then, in March of 2018, he released the album Question Mark. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, and it produced Sad, a song that hit #1 on the Hot 100 and became the defining record of his career. What made Question Mark work commercially is that it wasn't one thing. There was rap on it, there was acoustic guitar, there was something close to pop punk, and there were tracks under 2 minutes that people played on loop. It was built without anybody intending it to be perfect for streaming. Weeks before he died, Billboard reported he'd signed a new deal with Empire worth a reported $10 million.
Word is coming out that before X passed away, he signed a goddamn $10 million deal.
So by the spring of 2018, he wasn't a SoundCloud kid anymore. He was inside a real commercial rights framework with contracts, distribution, publishing, and a catalog that was compounding every month. Whoever ended up administering that would be administering a business, not a memory. And a legal structure for exactly that had already been created 7 months earlier. On November 7th, structure for exactly that would be administering a business that was compounding every month. Whoever ended up administering that would be administering a business, not a memory. And a legal structure
A legal or a legal structure?
for exactly that had already been created 7 months earlier. On November 7th, 2017, José Onfroy completed a will. He was 19 years old. Think about that for a second. 19. Most people that age have never spoken to a lawyer. He was 7 months out from being killed, and there is
Damn, bro. He probably sensed some shit.
no indication anybody knew that was coming. The will named Cleopatra Bernard as personal representative of his estate. It named 3 beneficiaries, Bernard and his 2 brothers, Aiden Kerr and Corey Pack. But the detail that makes this document so strange is the signature. According to court records reported by the Miami New Times, José did not personally sign that will. Next to her own signature, Cleopatra Bernard
This is AI?
wrote that she held power of attorney over
Cleopatra.
for him. His mother signed on his behalf on a document that named her as the person who would control everything. Now, none of that is automatically improper. Powers of attorney exist and people use them for legitimate reasons every day. There has never been a public court ruling calling that will invalid. It went through probate and it held. But think about the timing. In November of 2017, he was 19, had just signed a $6 million deal, and was months away from releasing the album that would make him a superstar.
But bro, you're gonna do crazy numbers off this, and it seems like it's getting like a universal positive reaction from people. It's gonna be, this is gonna be fucked up.
He had no wife and no children. He was, by any normal measure, at the very beginning of his life. Most people that age don't write wills because there's nothing to protect yet and no reason to think about dying. Somebody in that room thought differently. But understand what it does to this story. Every dollar that is moved through this estate for 8 years, every release, every merchandise drop, every lawsuit, traces back to a page a 19-year-old didn't put his own hand to. And within 7 months, that page went from a formality to the most important document in his family's life. On June 18th, 2018, Jase was leaving Riva Motorsports in Deerfield Beach, Florida. He'd been shopping for a motorcycle. 2 men approached his vehicle. Prosecutors
That shit's so crazy, bro. How the fuck did this shit get set up like that, bro?
would later describe it as a robbery targeting roughly $50,000 in cash he was carrying. He was shot and killed in the driver's seat. He
That shit crazy, bro.
was 20 years old.
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a
Developing right now. A search for a killer in South Florida after an up-and-coming rapper is shot dead. 20-year-old XXXTentacion killed in an apparent robbery.
The response was immediate and global. He was one of the most streamed artists on the planet at the time, and for a huge number of young listeners, he was the voice that had made their worst feelings sound survivable. His memorial in Sunrise, Florida drew tens of thousands of people. Fans lined up for hours. Artists who had never worked with him posted tributes. The reaction was disproportionate even by the standards of a young star dying, because his audience had a relationship with the music that went far past normal fandom. He was also, at the time of his death, a deeply contested figure. He had been facing serious charges involving his former girlfriend, allegations he denied and never went to trial over.
I didn't beat her, nor do I give a about who beat her at this time, because now I know she's an evil bitch. There's a story.
That case died with him, legally unresolved, and it has followed his name ever since. The criminal case took years. In March of 2023, 3 men were convicted of his murder. A 4th, Robert Allen, cooperated with prosecutors and received a substantially reduced
Would y'all do that dumbass shit? It ain't even worth nothing, boy.
sentence.
Robert Allen was sentenced to 7 years in prison with
He only got 7 years. It's crazy how motherfuckers get away like that just for snitching. No, boy. He still should have had 20 at least. Unless he was just a driver or something.
credit for 5 years already served at the Broward County Jail as part of a plea deal.
That side of the story has an ending. The money side
All them niggas look the same.
never got one, because within days of his death, the probate machine started moving. Between June 25th and 29th of 2018, Bernard filed the paperwork and the will became public. She was formally the personal representative of his estate, and that title needs explaining because most coverage of this story gets it wrong. Personal representative doesn't mean she inherited everything, it means she administers it. She's the one who inventories the assets, manages them, deals with the creditors, fights the lawsuits, approves the releases, and eventually distributes what the court says gets distributed. The role makes her an operator with legal authority over the whole machine. In practice, for an estate this size, that's more power than being an heir. An heir receives a share of whatever is left at the end. An administrator decides what gets sold, what gets released, which claims get fought, and which get settled for as long.
Damn, I'm not knowledgeable about none of this. I don't know what Minister, yeah, I don't know what bro talking about. Let me know in the comments what he talking about.
Long as the estate stays open, and this one has stayed open for 8 years. 2 months later, she made the purchase that everybody points to. On August 22nd, 2018, Bernard closed on a mansion
It's a lot of land.
in Parkland, Florida for $3.4 million.
XXXTentacion's mom buys a $3.4 million mansion he planned to get her before his death.
15,297 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms. Public real estate estimates now put it somewhere in the high 4 millions. That's the house behind
And the value went up.
the headline. That's
crazy.
How she lives. But the house is the least interesting part of that address. Because if you pull Florida corporate records, that same Parkland address appears on the filings for Bad Vibes Forever LLC and Bad Vibes Forever Publishing and
That's a crazy LLC. Wait, hold on.
That's how she lives. But the house is the least interesting part of that address. Because if you pull Florida corporate records, that same Parkland address appears on the filings for Bad Vibes Forever LLC and
That's a crazy name right there.
Bad Vibes Forever Publishing and Bad Vibes Forever Merchandising. Cleopatra Bernard is listed as registered agent and manager across the stack.
I mean, am I wrong, chat? Ain't she doing what she's supposed to be doing? Let me read the comments just for a minute. Oh, they said she didn't buy the home X did months before he passed away. Somebody told me they going through the same problem. You ain't up no M, sure. Damn, they said I hope everybody would stop listening to music. Wait, I hope everybody will stop listening to his music. His mom will lose him about it. It don't even matter though.
Mansion doubles as the corporate headquarters.
If this really true, like, let me know. Is this really true? If this really true, like, it shouldn't be nothing wrong with him leaving the money to his mom.
Of her son's afterlife, and the Bad Vibes companies aren't the whole picture either. Florida records tie Bernard to a wider network of entities, including one named for the Parkland property itself, another called Long Live Ja, plus Vibes 2.0 Entertainment, X-Art, Jamming Unlimited, and a boutique company. Not all of those are central to the estate, but together they show of Ja, plus one named for the Parkland property itself, another called Long. And the Bad Vibes companies aren't the whole picture either. Florida records tie Bernard to a wider network of entities, including one named for the Parkland property itself, another called...
So, she just running a whole bunch of businesses.
Long Live...
How's she supposed to keep the money without running the businesses, though? Yeah.
Live Ja, plus Vibes 2.0 Entertainment, X-Art, Jamming Unlimited, and a boutique company. Not all of those are central to the estate.
Was she overly up off his shit?
But together, they show something specific about how she operates. She isn't a passive beneficiary collecting royalty checks in the background. She's structured like an active holding company operator, with multiple registered entities running out of one address. And it worked. In December of 2018, 6 months after he was buried, the estate released Skins. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, with 121.8 million on-demand streams in its opening week. That was the proof of concept. A dead artist could still open at #1. The catalog wasn't a memorial anymore. It was a business with a release schedule. Then something happened that the will never accounted for. On January 26, 2019, 7 months after Jase was killed, his son was born.
Let's talk about
Damn. That's sad, bro.
XXXTentacion's legacy because his son was just born. TMZ reports X's girlfriend gave birth to Gekyum on January 26, just days after what would have been his 21st birthday.
The will was written in November 2017. The child was conceived in 2018 and born in 2019. That document could not have contemplated him because he did not exist when it was signed. Under Florida probate law, a child born after a will is written can have rights to an estate regardless, but rights require proof, and proof required a paternity determination. The estate resisted. On May 14, 2019, a judge granted access for DNA testing to establish paternity over Bernard's opposition. Read
Shit getting spooky.
that plainly. The mother administering the estate opposed the request that would have established her own grandson's claim to it.
The mother of XXXTentacion's son wanting a DNA test to prove that Gekyum is really her son. This week it looks like X's mom is stepping in to stop that test
That's crazy. Why would she stop it though?
from happening.
Whatever the legal reasoning was, that's a difficult fact to sit with. The
Damn, you don't want to meet you don't want to know if that's your grandbaby, shorty. That shit crazy.
dispute ended in mediation rather than a courtroom, which is common in family probate fights because neither side wants the discovery process. On January 30th, 2020, the parties reached a confidential
That look just like him.
settlement that created an irrevocable trust for the child. An irrevocable trust means the terms can't be changed once they're set. It's a structure designed to lock money away for a beneficiary long-term, usually with a trustee controlling access until specified conditions
At least his son blessed though, shorty.
are met. And confidential means exactly what it sounds like. The terms are sealed. Nobody outside that room knows what the child received, what percentage of the estate it represents, or what conditions were attached. One of the single most important financial outcomes in this entire story is legally invisible. That settlement resolved the child. It didn't resolve the family. On June 19, 2020, Corey Pack, one of the two brothers named in the original will, filed suit through his mother, Jody Cavney. The suit sought roughly $11 million in damages.
XXXTentacion's stepbrother is filing suit.
Step? Yeah.
He's alleging that tens of millions of dollars are fraudulently being transferred, devaluing his inheritance.
And in the filing, Pack's side claimed the estate was worth more than $50 million. That's the number. That's where it comes from. Not an audit, not a court valuation.
I ain't gonna lie. If you really think about it though, that do look more than 3.53 million. I'm just going along with it like, yeah. But if you really think about it though,
not a Forbes estimate.
if you look at, yeah, that's
A dollar figure assertions by one
let me know in the comments. Do that look more than 50 mil? I mean, do it look 50 mil? It do look.
side of a family lawsuit against the other. Bernard's attorney publicly called the claims meritless and said Corey was entitled to nothing. Sit with the shape of that. Corey Pack was named as a beneficiary in the original will by Jase, alongside Bernard and their brother Aiden. He wasn't an outsider making a play. He was one of the 3 people the document was written for. And 2 years after Jase died, he was suing his own mother, and her lawyer was publicly saying
That's crazy.
he had no claim at all. Then in May of 2021, a second complaint landed. This
It's crazy what money how people out here doing though. I don't know the full story, but I'm just saying like they really can make motherfuckers think they invincible though. If his name was on there, you can't break him off. You can't really like damn. If his name was on there, that means he deserves something.
one alleged that Bernard had moved estate assets into holding companies.
Ms. Bernard is essentially removing assets from the estate and transferring it beyond the reach of the court so that when the case
She's smart with that shit. I ain't gonna lie, her little ass playmaker.
is over, there'll be nothing to distribute to our client.
Bernard denied any wrongdoing.
She a playmaker, boy. No blade.
These were allegations. They were contested. And here's the part that matters for anyone trying to tell this story honestly. Several of these cases have no clean public ending. The filings are documented and easy to verify. The final dispositions are not cleanly available in open court records. So anybody telling you she was proven to have done something or proven to have done nothing is filling in a blank that the public record doesn't fill. The family fight wasn't the only front either. In 2019, producer
He just keep adding on.
James H. Duvall and Stash Records filed a claim against the estate over Look at Me, the song that started all of it.
If you do something like you create that record, you own what you've done on the record. right? But it can't just be given away by some random lawyer behind somebody else. You feel me? And that's pretty much what we're dealing with.
Bernard objected and countersued. That
Damn, you don't want to give up nothing. Come on now, you can't break the producer off no cheese.
dispute is documented. Its ending
He said, y'all not getting nothing.
isn't publicly clear.
He said, y'all ain't getting nothing at all, shorty. Nothing. Y'all can't get a penny up out of me. She said, y'all can't get a crumb, shorty.
His father, Dwayne Onfroy, surfaced in probate seeking notice and involvement in proceedings. And in late 2018, Bernard herself sued Jasé's half-sister Ariana for defamation, arguing her reputation and business ventures were being damaged.
The Daily Beast reports X's mom, Cleopatra,
That's crazy what money do.
has filed a lawsuit against Ariana for defamation, libel, and slander.
Add it up, and you get a picture of an estate that spent its first 3 years being pulled at from every direction at once, by producers, by relatives, by claimants, while simultaneously
Yeah, if you up 100M, 50M, you can't break nobody off nothing. That's crazy. You should easily just let me get y'all out the way. Now leave me alone, cause you really got you got the rest of the bread coming forever. However long he get streams.
running as a commercial operation, which brings us to what.
But though, this the thing though, you can't really in this situation. If you give up your money, then you look guilty, or it could be looked at as the other person being right. So even if you gave the producer something, then they got something to go off of. I think so. She probably just like, nah, it's too complicated. I'm just not gonna get y'all nothing. How about that?
That operation actually generates now. The catalog did not fade, it compounded. As of July 2026, Spotify's own artist page shows XXXTentacion at 30.7 million monthly listeners.
Yeah, she up. I ain't gonna lie. She's overly up. Money, like y'all ain't even got the right type of money to even try to sue either, so shit. That's crazy. You gotta have money to make money though.
Party tracking from Chartmasters puts him at roughly 66.5 billion lead on-demand audio streams.
That's crazy.
With somewhere around $1 million in monthly revenue attached to that position. On the video side, Chartmasters shows 12.7 billion YouTube views and 4.5 billion YouTube music streams. Korb separately shows more than 10 billion views on his channel alone. For scale, 30 million monthly listeners puts a man who has been dead for 8 years in the same range as artists who are actively touring, promoting, and releasing new music every year. The certifications keep coming too. Sad went diamond in 2021. And on January 9th, 2026, Love received a fresh RIAA certification, credited under the Bad Vibes Forever and Empire.
Once you go diamond, shorty, you damn near a legend. Damn near you go diamond, and it's organic. Yeah, you damn near tough once you go diamond, shorty.
Label line. That's a plaque awarded almost 8 years after his death on a song from 2017. And the estate has monetized.
Platinum sound better, but just going diamond is crazy. Diamond is really legit. You go diamond.
Nearly every lane available. There was Skins in 2018, Bad Vibes Forever, the album in 2019, a Yellow Heart NFT project in.
I don't think she up enough. I think she up enough to share that cheese. Share a little bit. Like you ain't gotta.
2021.
We know it belonged to you, but damn, you can't get one for a piece that name was up on that. Damn.
That packaged unreleased music and unseen tour footage as digital collectibles, reissues, apparel.
Next week, XXXTentacion's estate will release a series of non-fungible tokens containing tracks that have never been commercially released, as well as never-before-seen footage from his only tour.
In July of 2025, another full Bad Vibes Forever collection launched, but the Hulu documentary is the one worth pausing on.
Damn, I never seen that.
Look at Me. XXXTentacion came out in 2022 with a companion film following later that year. It covered his life, his music, and the allegations against him.
Damn, oh, that's why she didn't get no money. Oh, that's why she didn't get no money, shorty, because them allegations. That's why. What about the producer, though? Why he ain't get no money?
And it was made with the.
Ooh,
that year. It covered his life, his music, and the allegations
Well, her ass is crazy. Who really did that?
against him, and it was made with the state cooperation. That's a different kind of asset. Songs and merchandise generate revenue. A documentary generates something
Who else would have did it though, Shorty?
else, which is the authorized version of
I ain't saying he did, but I'm just saying, like, who else would have did it?
who he was. When the estate is involved in telling the story, the estate has input on which story
What is the estate? What is we talking about?
gets told. So by 2022, the operation wasn't only selling his catalog, it was curating his meaning.
Yeah, we've all done crazy shit in our lives at one point or another, just not in front of a camera or, so.
Hey everyone, this is Manon Hofstadt, and you can now tune into my live performance at Tomorrowland on YouTube. You're one.
I think people will be able to relate.
But the corporate filings tell you the sharpest version of what this
Who the hell is Buddy?
has become. Bad Vibes Forever Touring went inactive in 2023. Publishing stayed active. Merchandising stayed active. The public-facing side runs the same way. The official XXXTentacion Instagram states openly that it's operated by the estate. Bad Vibes Forever has its own account with close to 1 million followers. The official website still sells merchandise directly, and Bernard herself has built an audience of roughly 2 million followers.
She just over. She done went everywhere. She done.
Where she posts about her son and about the brand. Every one of those channels, 2 million followers, where she posts about her
Was on the band.
her son and about the brand. Every one of those channels is a distribution point for a catalog and a clothing line run by the same person from the same address.
That shirt tough.
The company built to
Hey, we get it, bro. We know it's her. We know she running it, bro.
put a
He gotta make this shit a conspiracy theory, though.
human being on a stage is gone. The company's built to sell his rights, and his clothes are still running. That's the shape of the whole thing in one detail, which raises the obvious
I know the labels. Is they getting money from this? Because if they not, I know they sick.
question. If nobody has
What if the label's taking most of the money, though? Is she getting a lot? What if she getting a lot, but they getting a lot? For real, for real. Like, the label just not finna just let you. But now, though, I don't know the contract. It all depends on the contract, for real.
ever audited
They not finna just let you run it up and they ain't getting nothing in return.
this estate, what is it actually worth in 2026? Nobody can tell you with certainty, and anybody who claims a hard figure is guessing, but you can work it out roughly. Start with the streaming position.
You do real estate, you probably can tell what, like, somebody that do real estate probably know how much money that crib probably estimate.
Around $1 million a month in tracked revenue puts the catalog somewhere near 12 million a year gross. That's before split.
12 million 8 year for 8 years.
Producers get paid. Featured artists get paid.
Okay.
Publishers take their share. Distributors take theirs. Administration costs money. So the net that actually reaches
PJ.
the estate is meaningfully lower
Valenci boost. I ain't know she was living like that. But it makes sense, though.
than the headline. Then apply how catalogs get valued.
Essentially valuing what the future cash flow is, and you are paying.
It's a long one, shorty. I don't think I'll ever just went 20 minutes on some shit. I'm not adding it. Not this one, bro.
2 times that gross profit line, or today anywhere from 15 to 20 times, and has been higher for some other assets.
Established music catalogs have generally traded somewhere in the range of 12 to 18 times net annual earnings, depending on how durable the buyer thinks the streams are. Run that math with conservative assumptions and you land somewhere in the $55 to $105 million range, with the upside case pushing higher if you treat it as premium intellectual property that's still growing rather than declining, which means the $50 million figure from a 2020 lawsuit probably understates where this sits today. And there's one more contrast worth putting on the table, because it understates
Who is these people?
Where this sits today. And there's one more contrast worth putting on the table, because it complicates the public image. The XXXTentacion Foundation is heavily promoted. It's on the official website. Bernard is listed as president. It's the charitable face of the legacy, and it's referenced constantly in coverage of the estate. Philanthropy databases report the foundation took in
money in and out.
roughly $28,000 in revenue in 2021. $28,000 against the catalog estimated to generate around $1 million a month. That gap.
God. I think that's how much Juice was making too. $1 million a month.
Doesn't prove anything improper. Foundations can be small, and plenty of legitimate ones are, but it does tell you where the actual weight of this operation sits, and it isn't the charity. So let's go back to the headline. XXXTentacion's mother inherited his $50 million fortune, and how she lives is insane. Here's what's actually true. The $50 million figure came from a lawsuit filed by one of her sons against her. Bernard denied the claims. No public audit, court valuation, or verified accounting of this estate exists. If anything, based on the streaming numbers.
How is that possible though? Is it because it's under an LLC or is it in the trust? So you telling me she found a way to hide this shit? She was one up, I ain't gonna lie.
In 2026, that number now reads more like a floor.
She had to put it in the trust fund, bro. To hide it, she had to, bro. She had to put it in the trust. She had to. That's the only way. You can't hide no. What is he talking about in this documentary? You can't hide no bank state. You can't hide no money from no government. If they want that shit, they gonna find it. I think the only way you can hide it is if it's in the trust.
And a ceiling, but it has never been confirmed by anybody neutral. She didn't.
You can't be no regular person to have no money. You gotta know something to have some money.
Didn't simply inherit the estate. She was named personal representative, which makes her the administrator of it. She's a beneficiary too, alongside two brothers, but the real power in her position is operational rather than personal. The mansion is real, and she bought it 2 months after his death, but that same address is the registered headquarters for the business entity she runs. And several of the biggest legal questions in this story have never been publicly resolved.
Who's going to show me the information that someone's allowed to sign for them in that manner to acquire their funds? A will is not done that way.
Not the Corey Pack suits, not the Duval claim. The filings exist, the endings are missing. What can be said with certainty is narrower and honestly stranger. Cleopatra Bernard has spent 8 years running a company built out of her dead son's voice. She approves the releases. She fights the lawsuits. She signs the corporate filings. She sits at the center of a catalog that still moves 30 million listeners a month and shows no sign of slowing down. She did keep his name alive in a business where dead artists usually fade inside 2 years, and the cost of that shows up everywhere in the record.
It is crazy though to keep it going though.
Grandson whose paternity had to be established over her objection and whose settlement is sealed. 2 brothers, one of whom sued her. A half-sister she took to court. A producer fighting over the song that started it. A father petitioning to be included in proceedings.
Why the father always want to pop up 35 years late? Like, bro, it's over with, gang. I ain't gonna lie. You not getting none of that bread. Where was you at before he even left this earth?
In a 2022 interview with
It's not happening, buddy. Got it.
GQ.
Not buying it.
Around the release of the Hulu documentary, Bernard said what she wanted people to take away was that her son was a human being.
I don't think it's going to change the image, and that wasn't our intent. Our intent was to humanize him.
That's the tension this whole story sits inside. The same woman
Sound like a good message though.
making that argument in public is the person who turned him into a rights.
At the end of the day, shorty, this is mama though, so she got to say so. She the one pushed him out, risked her life for him. You feel me? Don't look like Pops was there. She got to say so for real, y'all. Everybody know that. They ain't even if they feel like they got some money or not. If you lose the case, you shouldn't have got your hopes up. Cause once somebody get that money and you want on their good side, oh yeah, it's over with. You gone. I ain't gonna lie. They leaving you, buddy. Once somebody gets some money and you want on their good side, you better know. You better know. You might not ever hear from them again. I ain't gonna lie. That money changed shit. No cap. You will realize who you realize when you get somebody get some money, you realize they fuck with you for real or not. Or if they was just there because they ain't had nowhere else to go. No cap. That shit crazy though.
portfolio in private because somebody had to, and the will said it was her. Grief became governance, and once it did, it never turned back into grief.
She come Richard Mill, all type of shit. They ain't get him nothing. That shit. That shit crazy. From what I know from this video, they said she ain't get him nothing. Maybe she did get him a little something, and they messed the money up though. You know how motherfuckers be though. Like you get him something, they fuck it off, and then want some more. You tell them no one time, that they get to acting like you ain't never gave them nothing. You never really know for real. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I learned a lot from this video that I didn't know. When I seen it, I just had to click it, but yeah. Man, let me know what y'all think in the comments, bro. It's really a crazy situation. It's unfortunate that he had to go out like that too. Like that ain't right. And then look, nobody win the situation. Like, where y'all think y'all was gonna go after y'all did what y'all did? Now y'all in jail. But really, they in jail because they probably only got caught because dude snitched though. That's how it go. He finna get out. The other ones, he shouldn't even be getting out though. If we being honest, cause boy, y'all just pulled up on dude, boxed him in, and did that. Y'all ain't have to do that, bro. Y'all did not have to do that. It don't even make sense. Y'all, yeah.